Welcome to another Acadiana Outdoors show. I'm your host, Byron Briggs, and of course I have with me today two distinguished gentlemen. Dave Pearce, I appreciate you coming by.
Glad to be
here. And of
here.
course Tom Daly. Everybody knows Tom and Dave. You're associated with Opelousas General Hospital. Tell the viewers what you do.
Well, I'm an anesthesiologist over at Opelousas General.
Well, I know you've been in Opelousas now, what, about a year?
Almost a year and a half.
Almost a year and a half. And it's just, we're happy to have you here, Dave. I want you to know that. And you're doing an excellent job, and everybody likes you. I want you to know that. Tom, I know we had a good fishing trip.
Oh, it was fantastic, Byron. We had a terrific time.
Oh, yeah. What you think about it, Dave?
Well, I'd like to go back. That was quite a trip. It really is a trip to remember, as they say on their brochure.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to going back.
Let me just tell the viewers real quick where we went, Dave. We went to Black Lake Lodge, just below Lake Charles, down in the Hackberry area. And of course, Richard Tippe was the host down there. They have an excellent lodge if anybody wants to go. Don't you think, Tom?
It is. It's practical. Well, it's a new lodge, and the lodging is the whole operation is fantastic as far as for on-hand cooks and
the sleeping quarters,
real good.
You know, the cafeteria, huh, Dave? Just everything. And of course we had a guide that came out with us, and he was real good. He showed me and you some tricks.
Yeah, and it really worked hard to ensure that we enjoyed ourselves and that we caught fish.
Right. Well, before we go into our video that we had shot, I'd like to also say that we appreciate our sponsors that bring this show to us. And of course, one of our sponsors is St. Leonard Bank. And Tom, as you know, everybody likes this time of year, likes fishing and all that, so they can go by and see Robert or Chuck and Eunice.
Right. And a new boat or something like that.
They want to buy a new boat or a four-wheeler. Maybe me and you can go over there and maybe get us one, you know, if we go see them.
I'm sure they'd give us a good deal.
Oh, I know Kenny or all the boys down there treat you good, you know.
Oh, yeah. Bunch of good guys.
And also, of course, Thrift Away Pharmacy has been a sponsor since we started off. As Al Richard, Ken Savoy, and Carl Savoy, and they're all sportsmen, and we appreciate them being part of this, showing this program on the air, you know. And also Tony Sashery Insurance Agency, Jim Wallace and Doug Sashery, they're real good guys to do business with. They have very competitive rates, and of course, anybody needs any insurance, they can, on life insurance, health, automobile, or home, they can go by and see them.
They go buy the boat, get it financed at St. Leonard Bank, and then they got to go over to Sashery and get some insurance.
And of course, they can always go to Thrift Away Pharmacy and get some aspirins after they got to pay the notes. Well, great. Well, listen, we appreciate y'all taking time out to talk about a few of our sponsors. And we'd like to show you some video that we made an excellent fishing trip, and of course you're going to see that by the video that was shot. So let's move on and start our show off.
Good.
Did you get that? That was a 4-pound bass. I pulled him through that shrink grass.
I'm telling you, huh?
Shrunk him right up. Look there.
They'll
do it every time.
Go that there. In the weeds. All right. There you go. Good catch, Dave. Boy, he hit that top water bait, didn't he?
Pretty little fish there.
I'm telling you.
There he goes.
Tell you, boy, when you see him hit with something like this spook, it's unbelievable how often you can cast in there and get him.
Yeah, he nailed it, didn't he?
They're a spook.
There's a little one. Dave?
But a fish, no.
But a fish, huh? Well, that's my first one, so you gonna congratulate me?
Get a keeper in, I'll congratulate you.
Okay. I'm gonna slide that one in real soft so that I got criticized last time for, what do you call that, Roger, when you throw them off like that?
A gainer. A gainer.
A gainer. Okay, I got Pearce out for gainer. Well, I'm gonna catch me in that now.
See, right now, with that sun up as high as it is, and real bright, really, them fish aren't going to be feeding up. I mean, we just lucky to catch these ones on the top. Just like you looking up at the sun, it hurts your eyes. It's the same thing with them. They're going to be feeding down. So that sluggo or crawl worm or something like that probably be the ticket.
Did you get that on a worm?
Huh?
It's on a worm?
Yeah, I got one on the worm.
Bring over here. Look them in for it.
Ah, you know what kind of fish that is, don't you?
Don't tell me a shoe pig.
That's a Pat Morrow special right there. I tell you what, Pat is gonna love us to death for having that one on here.
I'm not reaching in that one's mouth. Oh, no.
Go ahead, Dave, grab it.
Who was that for, Byron?
Well, that was one of Pat's fish, but I let him go. He got mad at me last week. He says I had enough granules, so he doesn't want me to bring him any more right now. So I let that one go on back. Maybe I'll catch him one next week, you know?
And what about those granule balls that he wanted to make?
Well, he never invited me to come eat him yet. Of course, I know he invited Morris and a number of other people, but hopefully next week, the next couple of weeks, I'll bring him some more and he'll cook me some, I think. But he really enjoys them. But I got to get his recipe, so maybe I can try them, you know? What do you think about that, Dave?
I'm going to be busy that night.
You going to be busy that night?
Yeah, when y'all cook them.
Really? Okay.
I don't know why I gave up my scoop when that was the only thing I was catching. Look, there's another one here.
There he is. Well, that's a nice fish, Roger.
Nah, he's little.
Really?
He's down in that shrink grass.
Get him up and dance for you. You let him get down on you, huh?
Yeah. That's that long distance cast. He's 40 yards out there.
Nice healthy fish.
Go on, yeah, Dave.
What was that you did, a sluggo?
Yep. I just want to make sure they was home, you know.
All right, watch me drop that worm in over there. He's letting the rod right behind you. Oh, right there?
Yeah.
Look at that fish go after it.
He's gonna get it. He ain't got it already. He will get it.
That's the best fish on there.
Let me see, I want to show you something about that on the hook. You see where it's at?
Yeah.
Came through that bone on the side. Got him way back. Always get him to the boat.
And he did a gainer.
What he's gonna do when he gets it.
Oh, yeah. One more. That's what we're fishing for right there, Dave.
Yeah, we playing here. This ain't no good. This baby, it was starting to get a little cloudy.
Yeah. You didn't get a hit yet, Tom?
Not more than yet.
How about you, Dave?
Not yet.
All right, Tom.
Little monster. I didn't bit him.
Well, I tell you what, at least the kid's on the scoreboard, huh, Tom?
Yeah.
What you think, Dave?
I'm jealous.
I know you are. Let's see him, Tom. All right, good
What you
fish,
think?
Tom. Yeah.
Want to do a gainer with it?
Yeah, gainer. Tom, that's the first bass you caught in a long time?
That's the first one, Byron. I don't know how long. It's been a while.
Well, good. At least
Several years.
several years. At least we got it on the film.
Watch him want to do a gainer.
A gainer. And you let that one go, huh, Tom?
Let it go.
All right.
For another day.
For another
For
day.
a bigger one.
Oh. Yeah?
Nice one, yeah.
That's a nice fish there now. Sure is.
A master debater.
Tom, you got a nice one there, Tom?
Yeah, what you think? We're gonna keep that one?
Well, I tell you what, I know we want a few fillets to go on back home with, so you can keep that one.
All right.
Well, there's another little bass for us.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Talk about, huh?
Shit, that's a good fish.
Boy, Tom, bring him on in, Tom. Good fish, Tom.
I mean, right at the boat.
Boy, he hit you, didn't he?
Cool.
That's what it's all about right there, Tom.
What you think, Byron?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Well, Madeline's gonna be proud of you now, Tom. Let me see him. Hold him up so the viewers can see him. Good fish, Tom. Good fish.
All right.
Golly. Good fish, Tom. You got one, Dave?
Got one on the front boat.
All right, y'all got a double then.
Yeah.
Who's got the biggest fish there?
I don't believe it's me.
Byron,
yeah.
this is fun.
That's fun,
Gotta get
Tom.
some people from our viewing area to come over to this place. This is a fantastic place to come fishing.
Ain't it, though?
They got a beautiful place to stay. The lodge is terrific. The guides are fantastic. And the fishing's great.
Fishing's good. All right, let's try and see if we can't catch another one now. What you got there, Tom? That sure is a nice fish you caught.
Nice bass, Byron. But it's got eggs and we want to let it go.
Okay. I want to see that fish swim off, you know? All right. Very good. I'm proud of you, Tom. How about you, Dave? What did you do with yours?
Threw it back.
Threw it back. Y'all gonna try and get another double now?
Heck yeah.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it, though? I tell you what, I got both the fish come in at the same time.
That's great.
Yeah, Dave?
I believe that's the salad, yeah.
Oh, you got the salad, huh? And Tom's getting the fish.
That's it. You want to have a well-balanced meal.
Gotta have your greens along with your fish.
Yeah, you're right. Where's he at, Tom?
Right here on the side of the boat.
All right, Tom, you got another one, huh?
That's another full one, huh? With
Yeah,
eggs.
another female.
Man,
Another female.
That's amazing.
that's all
That's
I've
a
been
male?
catching is a female.
Now, we're after just the females or just the males, Tom?
Well, either one I think without, we'll take a female without eggs. But the ones with eggs we want to,
Turn them on back,
yeah,
because it's a spawning season.
right.
Let me, when you get that fish up, it's a nice fish, Tom.
Yeah, that's a nice fish.
Tell you what, Joan's gonna be, Joan and Beth and all the girls back at the station gonna be proud of you.
I guess they'll be expecting a fish fry.
I'm telling you.
Byron, how about explaining to our viewers how you can tell if a fish has eggs?
Well, Tom, if you notice right here, it's kind of swollen a little bit. If you look under the lower end, it's kind of red, and that's how you can tell if a fish this time of year is probably on the nest or spawning or whatever, and it's kind of swollen right on the bottom end here. So when that happens, it's better to go ahead and let the fish go because, of course, they're spawning this time of year, and it's better just to let them out to hatch over for this year. Now, in a couple of months, all the hatch will be over with, and you don't have to worry about that. So if you're interested in next year's spawning, the time to let them go is now.
Great.
Well, there's another one.
That one bites the dust of the hog, huh?
I'm telling you. What is that, a male or a female, Roger?
Let me take a gander at it. It's a little female,
Mm-hmm.
but she's already spawned. You see the oval shape
Right.
So the smooth skin right around here,
Uh-huh.
the white part,
Yeah, okay.
that indicates that it's a female fish, but she's already put down her eggs.
Oh, okay. What you got, Dave? Good fish, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Dave, huh?
That's a pretty bass.
I'm telling you, that's a beautiful fish.
Unfortunately, it's hooked in the eye. I'm gonna see if I can get it out without hurting the eyeball. I believe I did.
I want you to hold it up now and show the viewers, Oh, yeah. Pretty fish. Pretty fish.
Is that how you been fishing it, Rob?
I let it sit still, and then when you go to pull it in, only just kind of work it like a buzzbait back to you.
Firm grass beds right here. We pulled quite a few fish in the last hour.
Well, we've done real well in the last hour, you and Tom,
Real good.
huh? All right, Tom. He hit you pretty good, Tom.
Yeah. Real good. This one's just finished.
Well, she's still putting eggs down.
Oh, okay.
She's actively laying eggs.
That's a nice fish, though. He hit you close to the boat, Tom.
No, it was pretty full out, Byron. But man, it's hooked good.
Uh-huh.
Roger's right here. He's gonna show us exactly how to take a fish hook out in case you're out in the marsh like we are today, and show us how to take a fish hook out of your finger. We're not practicing medicine, but this would be the best thing to it.
Emergency situation. Say the orange is a storm or a leg or what have you, and the hook is run all the way in with the barb sunk into the skin.
All right.
What you want to do is get you a piece of string, not this long, something that you have enough slack to jerk on. You want to put the string around the hook to where it's in the U of the hook, and take and mash this part, the eye of the hook, to the skin. Okay? You take this string, get you a good grab on it,
Oh, okay.
and jerk it right out.
Well, that's
Works
good.
every time.
Well, thank you, Roger. I hope we don't have to use it today.
Yeah, maybe not.
Appreciate it. Go ahead, Dave. Now you're catching them, huh, Dave?
Yeah.
That's a male.
Stop having mercy on the old man and keep that.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep that one, Dave.
I'd like y'all to come out here one day on low pressure.
Good fish, Dave. Oh, yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
Boy, he's well hooked.
I'll go let you play around.
He grabs one, he grabs
It does, huh?
Well balanced.
Good one, Dave.
No, it's not too big.
Tell you what, you're getting one almost every cast now.
Yeah, cast him right up to the edge here and let it sit for a second.
Yeah, it's lousy with fish range.
Golly. Good fish, Dave.
Another nice little fish.
Dave, you'd highly recommend anybody want to catch a lot of bass to come out here, wouldn't you?
This place is excellent. I
Isn't it, though?
Really have enjoyed myself.
Nice fish. Well, Tom, you got another one, huh? I tell you what, you nailed them, aren't you?
This is great.
He's got us beat on the big fish.
I believe so, huh, Dave?
Look at the scars on your bait.
Well, I tell you what, I don't have much left of a bait there, Tom.
have to send that one back to the factory to get a new paint job.
I believe so. I tell you what, you wearing that bait out. All on top water, huh, Tom?
All on top water.
That's a beautiful fish, just beautiful.
That's one that's been
Is that in spawned?
throw that one back.
There he goes.
Catch and release.
You get the fish just off of that little
Okay.
beauty.
That's a nice one, huh, Dave? Huh? Oh, I don't plan on losing that. That's worth $5 to me. So far. Well, let me see if I can get down there and get him before he gets me. All right. It's a nice fish, huh? How you like that one, Dave?
Pretty fish.
Tom, what you think about this?
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's a pretty fish, isn't it?
Looks like that one's laid its eggs, too.
Well, that's about, what, 4 pounds?
Well,
Probably about 3 and a half.
this one is about a 7.5 pounder as those other TV. This fish will go about 7.5 pounds on those other TV shows, but on our show it'll go about 3. All right, that's good. That's an old male. Look how long and slender he is. Yeah. I got his wife right here. You got one too?
Yeah.
Okay, Roger. Let's see if mine's bigger than yours. Look like a pretty good, yeah, nice fish.
Look like twin.
I'm telling you, huh?
Solid fish.
Yeah. The fish are a lot bigger this afternoon than when the first fish we started catching.
Caught that on the worm?
No, he caught that one on a worm. I caught mine on a devil horse. I hope everybody enjoyed our film that we had. Dave, of course, we caught one grinner. And you caught that one, didn't you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it was Tom you caught it?
No.
It was me, I caught it, okay. Well, anyway, if anybody would like information on how to get to Black Lake Lodge, of course, they can call me or they can call Tom. They probably won't be able to catch Tom because he's going to probably be over there. So, but anyway, we had an excellent fishing trip, and hope we can make it back, Dave. And I appreciate, everything went real well. We have a number of other sponsors here. We have 2 other new sponsors on our show I'd like to say something about. Is Opelousas Concrete Service, and of course that's Sean DeJean. Y'all know Sean. And also Johnny Dogay Bush Hog Service. Johnny goes out and cuts lots for people, and that
This is the
overgrown
time
lots.
of the year.
Oh yeah, this is the time of the year to go out and cut lots. So if you or any of your neighbors have long grass, you can call for them and tell them to come get their lot cut. Johnny will cut it for them. And of course, if you want to build a dog pen or a driveway, you call Sean DeJean and he'll fix you up. Okay, our first picture is
Ribby Boudreaux from Ville Platte, and I think it was a 7-point buck barn. Beautiful deer.
Boy, that's a big deer, isn't it? That's great. And our second picture is
Well, this is Lon Baroni and myself out at Toledo
Dave
Bend.
Pearce.
We caught 32 bass that day, and we culled down to this limit here. The 2 on the right there were each 5.5 pounds.
I tell you what, that's a beautiful
All
string,
caught on
Dave.
a Carolina rig crawworm.
Golly. And that's our next picture, Dave, is a picture you brought in.
This is these fish were caught by Eddie Fontenot and Mark Manuel, who work at the hospital over there. A beautiful string of bass out at Toledo Bend
Of
also.
course, Eddie works at Opelousas General, and Ed is from Ville Platte, isn't he?
Correct.
Right,
originally.
okay. Now here's
Wayne Vidrine, 7-point buck. This is from
Kazan.
Kazan Hunting Club.
Yeah, that's on the other side of Ville Platte, Tom.
That's a nice deer.
I'm telling you, beautiful deer. Okay, our next picture, look at that catfish.
That's a big, big fish.
That catfish was caught by,
Let's see.
It just says Rawlings, Louisiana, Simmsport.
Simmsport, a big catfish caught up at Simmsport. Beautiful catfish. And here's a beautiful bass.
This is Eddie
Dave?
Fontenot's son, Jeffrey Fontenot, with his first bass.
Well, want to congratulate him, I tell you what.
Nice job there, Jeffrey.
Nice job.
And these are the winners of the Donnie Paul.
Welcome to another Acadiana Outdoors show. I'm Byron Briggs, your host, and of course we have our co-host here today, Nicky DeJean.
Hey,
Thanks
Byron.
for coming, Nick. And we have also one of our sponsors on the show is Mark Cary. Mark, I appreciate you coming by.
Glad to be here. Mark?
Mark has been one of our sponsors here on the show since we started, and of course we went down last weekend to Bayou Cygnet, and with the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association convention down there, and we had a real good time, didn't we, Mark?
It was very nice. It's a nice pork that they have out there. Cygnet State Pork. I'd never really heard of it until they invited us to their convention.
I haven't either.
It had some real nice camps. That's probably the most impressive thing about it.
It's
20 brand new, large, nicely equipped camps right on the bayou.
Over the water, too.
Right.
And it's right across, what's it, bridge, Nick?
Right across from the Huey Long Bridge.
And it's almost right in New Orleans, you know, that's what's good about it. And of course, once you go through the gates, I mean, you seem like you're out in
the wilderness.
The wilderness, and you are, though, really.
Now, we didn't have any very good weather to do any fishing, but I heard the fishing is outstanding out there.
Yeah, they went red fishing, or I think you can go saltwater fishing and freshwater fishing. You know, it's blackish water.
If anyone would like to know more about our state parks, which is under the Department of the Louisiana Department of Recreation and Tourism, they just need to call Baton Rouge, and there's about 10 or 15 state parks with cabins and everything all around the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
What those people did, they invited us there to have our convention, and they catered to us. Whatever we needed, they had it there for us, and they did a very good job. I'd like to thank the people in that area. They took care of us.
And of course, the state was very helpful in organizing, and Chris Burzai is
the president
of the organization, and he showed us a nice time, and of course our viewers, when they see our video, they're gonna recognize that we did have a good time and we learned a lot. And of course, it all goes back to Nicky. You were talking about earlier. It all goes back to
the purpose?
The purpose of it.
Well, the purpose of the association, and Mark is a member, he writes for a magazine, called Fish Finder Magazine, and they were impressing upon us to get out the news that they were promoting to get your kids involved in outdoor fishing and hunting, things like that, and that if it wouldn't be for people buying hunting and fishing licenses, we wouldn't have any game to hunt. So the thing to do is not to preserve, but to conserve.
Yeah, and of course, we try to encourage everybody to bring their kids out fishing. Of course, like, thank goodness my daddy got to take me out brim fishing when I was younger, and he taught me how to fish and hunt. And Mark, I'm sure you're the same way.
Oh, yes. I really believe in taking the kid fishing or hunting.
Right, and of course,
it means so much for them.
It does, and in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Oh, yeah, keep them off the streets with all the drugs and stuff that's going on. Yeah. Keep them in the woods. And
what's the old saying, when if you take them out hunting now, you won't have to hunt for them later.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
So let me just say a few things about a couple of our sponsors. Of course, Cary Sporting Good, Mark. I want you to know, I thought we'd talk about you every once in a while on the show. And Regional Medical Service, ambulance service here in St. Andrew Parish, and they have an excellent service. Nicky, you know that.
Right.
And also Thrift Away Pharmacy, Al Short, Ken Savoy, and Carl Savoy, all sportsmen, and they enjoy the show. And
always promoting the
outdoors.
cause, Ducks Unlimited.
I know.
The Redfish Association and everything
GCCA,
else.
Right. They're always out there.
Supporting that.
And of course, your good friend there,
Jerry Chamberlain with LeBlanc Chamberlain and Martin, physical therapists. All three of those guys do anything they can to help you.
In the outdoors, that's correct. And of course, Sam over at Salvador's Jewelry in Eunice, of course, he loves outdoors also. So after a trip like we went on, you're going to see us. That's when the time is to go over there and see Sam and buy. Did you buy for your son at Sam's, at Salvador's?
In Eunice?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make it. You see, Friday was our 10-year anniversary, so you and I were headed out out of town that same day. I didn't have a chance to get out to office.
Well, I tell you what, you better go see Sam in Salvador's anyway.
I'll have to do that.
Great. Well, look, let's go ahead and show our viewers Bayou Cygnet.
Let's do it.
Okay, I have Daryl Laurent with me today. Thank you for coming by, Daryl. Daryl is with Mr. Twister, and of course, a lot of the viewers back home use Mr. Twister. And I want you to give us a brief where they made it and all that, Daryl.
Well, Mr. Twister is located right outside, in Minden, Louisiana, right outside of Shreveport, about 25 miles east, right on I-20.
So it is a Louisiana product?
It is a Louisiana company, that is correct.
That's good. And tell us, the viewers, all what y'all make.
Well, we make a full line of soft plastic lures, anything from our teeny, meaty, little bit grubs, all the way up to the 11-inch phenom worm. We make the super lizard, the thunder worm, and some new lures for this year, the fighting crawdad, the slimy slug, the tickle tail, and the fin shad.
Well, good. I tell you what, of course, and I know we use a number, me and Nicky use a bunch of those lures on when we go bass fishing and do a number of shows like that. And of course, in the upcoming shows, we're going to show the viewers some of the lures, the different lures that you do have. So listen, Daryl, we appreciate you coming by.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Right here on the left spot, the long pointed leaves, these are the palmetto plants.
Yeah, I'm on, Nick.
Are you focused?
Yeah, no. Boy, I'll tell you what.
You want to focus? Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
This is Dave Hall. He's with the Federal Wildlife and Fisheries. He's a special agent in charge of special projects. And Dave, tell me what the special project is.
Well, in the latter part of my career, I decided to try to determine many things. One is why people poach and what we could do to not only improve compliance to wildlife laws, but to get people that poach to help me educate other people why we have wildlife laws and why they're important.
Right. As far as poaching goes, one of the most famous poaching films that I've ever seen was the famous goose hunt. And I hear you were responsible for that. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, actually I did that because I was frustrated. I couldn't explain just verbally what we see in the field. And so the video camera brings it right in living color, and people start to understand it. We do have a serious problem, but we can do something about it. And the people that poach, in many cases, are some of the most effective educators in their community if they see the light, so to speak.
Right. After these people shot 241 geese, of course you arrested them, and then what happened?
Well, in that case, I did some interviews with them, you know, while they were actually going to court. I can't say that that was a very good success story there. I did pursue some of them because I don't trust everybody that I deal with. I select ones that obviously are very skilled at what they do and seem to have some remorse and would make good, effective educators.
Right, and on the other end of the coin, these poachers more or less are highly educated about wildlife and fish and things like that.
Absolutely.
And they know more about that type of thing than the general public does, right?
Yeah, in fact, I was doing research with Dr. Robert Jackson at the University of Wisconsin, and we found out that poachers score higher on tests on knowledge of wildlife. They have better equipment, and it's commitment. They're committed to being in outdoors, and when you get down deep into their philosophies and their attitudes, the last thing they want to do is to prevent passing this on to their children and grandchildren.
Right.
And so you feel through the penalty, you bring this out in them, a feeling of guilt, and then they want to repent, so to speak, and work on the side of conservation. And when they do, they're absolutely unbelievable educators, not only for children, but for adults as well.
So you're bringing in the poachers to become teachers with our Federal Wildlife and Fisheries to help educate everybody.
That's right, because really the people that utilize wildlife care the most about it, and without the utilization and economics involved in wildlife, I don't believe it can survive. And so the preservationists are saying all we got to do is pass more laws and prevent more people from ever using wildlife, and everything's going to be okay.
So the key is not to ban hunting and fishing.
Absolutely not.
And if we do ban hunting and fishing, wildlife goes down?
If hunting and fishing were to be banned, wildlife would have no future, and it would soon be only probably on a few reservations or parks, and it would have no economic value, and the people that live with it would put their land in some other kind of use.
So the key is education, conservation.
That's right. And you've got to realize that the private landowner has about 90 to 95% of all the wildlife that exists in the United States. So you have to get the private landowner as well as the local people that are living close to the land and the wildlife involved in the program, where they trust the wildlife department, and the wildlife department start to have more confidence in the local people and bring them into the team effort.
Right.
And once you do that, then we saw a good example of it out here today with alligators.
Exactly.
Those guys have a vested interest in those alligators. They're not going to let people come poach those alligators. Right on this canal right here, where I've made cases through the years for alligator poaching, we're not having the problems that we once had because the people have a vested interest in it and an economic interest.
So the poachers are now turning toward conservation.
That's what I call poachers to preachers.
Poachers to preachers.
It's kind of a strange red part. I tell people, you know, that say, well, we're not too sure you've crossed the red line. You spend so much time with poachers now. I said, look, I never did feel that they were evil, bad people. They did only what society tolerated, was passed from one generation to another. The only way you break that link is to get in there and explain to them what the consequences are.
And it's working.
Absolutely. We can show that compliance levels, for an example, in southeastern Louisiana on waterfowl regulations has skyrocketed upward, far beyond what I would even believe to be possible.
Well, I really am glad, because it means that we have good things to come, more game, and more enjoyment of our outdoors.
Well, I enjoy being on the positive side, even though 31 years I've enforced wildlife laws. Some people think it's negative. It doesn't have to be. But I really enjoy the positive stories that we're able to tell now. And really, we've got to get the message out to the general public that will never hunt or fish or even be outdoors.
Right.
We've got to show them what wildlife management really is. And it involves utilization.
Right. One last question. The Sierra Club, not exactly like Ducks Unlimited, but both have a purpose. How do those two organizations come into play?
I'm trying to get everybody that has an interest in outdoors to lay down those areas where we disagree strongly and try to find more common ground and work together. Because if we spend all of our energy fighting each other, wildlife is going to suffer even more. So one of the issues is I'm trying to reach out to anyone or any group that has an interest in the outdoors and try to bring them together. And the poacher is effective even in trying to convert people that don't understand hunting.
So he can talk to the Sierra members and do you.
I'm doing it. And the more we do this, the greater the opportunity, I think, for truly managing wildlife the way it should be.
Well, Dave, I really want to thank you.
Well, I enjoy what I'm doing.
It's been very informative,
yeah.
And I hope I meet you again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it too.
Well, Ray, welcome to our show. I'd like to introduce our audience to a new spinnerbait made by Dixie Dancer.
Dixie Dancer, right.
Dixie Dancer. And what I'd like to talk about first is, you remember the first time you caught a bass?
Long time ago, yeah.
Hadn't lost that feeling yet, have you?
Hope I never ever do lose it either.
I hear you have a nickname.
Oh, God.
What,
yeah, Don Dubik and Joe T from Trafalgar River area named me the Trafalgar Sticker.
Right.
Trafalgar River, I fish on Trafalgar River a lot.
I'd like to tell our audience something. There's not many things more fun than bass fishing, and it's a feeling you'll never forget. You know?
That's correct.
So, well, look, there's something unusual about this bait right here. You're the distributor for this bait throughout the state of Louisiana, plus another bait that we'll show our audience in a second. And tell me about what's unusual about this bait right here.
This particular bait is, it was presented down here at the AFTMA show, I believe it was 2 years ago, and we won the Best of the Show award with it, the Dixie Dancers. The line of the Dixie Dancer, the Dixie Buzz Bait, sure, and also the Dixie Clicker. The spinnerbait itself is the one who won the Best of the Show award at the Afton show. This bait is a little different than most spinnerbaits, as you can normally see. You know, besides having the extra hook and the grub, this bait is equipped with a keel, with a lead keel that goes almost back to the curve of the hook. And what that means to the fisherman is a keel acts as like a rudder on a boat. It keeps this bait running perfectly straight. It also has a little extra weight with the keel, which keeps the bait pulling down. The spinners keeps the bait pulling up. And what you're going to derive out of it, you're going to get a perfectly balanced spinnerbait. Now this bait won't roll side to side. It stays perfectly straight. It's one of the smoothest spinnerbaits you're ever going to fish. I might add that this particular Dixie Dancer is the #1 selling spinnerbait in southern Louisiana right now. Every bait shop we're in, we're the #1 seller.
And I also hear that you are interested in distributors for this bait.
Correct. I'm also, not only do I distribute it in southern Louisiana, I'm also rep for the whole entire state of Louisiana for Twin Lake Lures, who makes the Dixie Dancer lure. And we are looking for distributors in the northern part of the state. Yes, I'd like people to contact me if they're interested.
Okay. And how would they get in touch with you?
Well, my office is out of Mandeville, Louisiana, and if anybody's interested in the number, it's area code 504-845-2420.
Good. While we're here, I want to show our audience something unusual, and this is called the...
This is called the Dixie Clicker. This is a mini clicker that has a very, very unusual loud clicking sound to it. Again, this bait runs real smooth through the water, perfectly upright, and you will be surprised on the big fish that you catch on this little bait. I fished this bait a couple of times last week, and I've caught 4 fish over 5, and one was right at 7.
I hear you just went down to the pond here at Lake Cornette, and how many did you catch with it?
Just this morning we went out, and I was using the black, which was this color here, with a small grub tail, chartreuse grub tail on the end of it. And I caught 7 this morning on it, and one was right at 4 pounds in this lovely part, bison neck part.
Right. And just so our audience will know, we're all here for the Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association meeting, and we really appreciate you being here, and we really like these baits. They really look good.
I'll tell you what, the consumer response to this bait has been phenomenal. It really has. I mean, I've been associated with lures for a long time, actually fishing them, Nick, but I tell you what, the bait itself, as soon as I got to the shops, I mean, the racks were empty. I think one of the key things, not only is it a fine bait, the rack has a lot to do with the presentation to the consumer.
Right.
And, I mean, when they see the different colors, we have some unusual colors. You know, you're not going to find, as many assortment of colors and a lot of baits that you're going to find in the Dixie Dancers. They make them in willies, we make them in tandem Indiana blades. We also make them in solid gold, in solid silver blades, and we also have a willie, which is gold and silver combination, which is this one right here. As you can see, the Indiana blade at the top is a gold blade, and the willow leaf is a silver blade. So they make them several different ways. We have something to please everyone, no matter what type of water you're fishing.
Well, Ray, this is another innovation that you showed us along with all these beautiful spinnerbaits. It's called a Cuts-It.
Cuts-It, correct.
Right? Yep. And fits on your rod. You put it about 1 inch above the cork handle, and you slip the hook in there, and it holds it on there. You don't have to stick the hook on your reel, maybe mark your reel or your bearings or something like that. The other good innovation about this is it's got a line cutter built into it. And when you're ready to take off a bait, I know I don't have to worry about it anymore as my teeth. Because you bite that line and you start chipping your teeth, cuts a line just like that. And this thing will cut up to, what?
Up to 50 pounds tension line, correct.
And this is one in a package right here. And you're also the statewide distributor for that too, aren't you?
Correct, for Cuts-It. We just picked these up the other day from Cuts-It. I had a statewide distribution on this one here. I'm also looking for distributors in the northern part of the state for Cuts-It.
Well, what we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to talk to Cary Sporting Goods in Ville Platte.
Great.
And we'll see if you can't get a bunch of them over there so our fishermen can get hold of these. So we go ahead and talk to Cary about getting them at Cary Sporting Goods in Ville Platte.
These here, what it amounts to is all you have to do as far as installation, they're very, very simple to put on. All you have to do is just remove, there's a light backing on this aluminum tape. All you have to do is remove the backing, place it on the rod, fold the tape around the rod, and cut. You're in business. I mean, it's plain and simple.
Well.
And you're looking at something that can retail somewhere in the neighborhood of 95 cents, 99 cents.
That's worth it.
You know, and saves a lot of teeth and dental bills, I tell you that.
I'll tell you what. It's a lot cheaper to cut your line with this than it is your teeth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Again, thanks for having me.
Well, Nick, what you think about that deer?
I'm scared of it. I think it's going to bite me.
You think so? He's not a real one, though, is he?
No, this is what they use to catch these night hunters.
Really?
Right. This has played a big part in the stopping all that night hunting of deer and things like that, because you have to eliminate them one by one and get rid of them.
Yeah, it's all remote control.
Right. Use airplane controls. That's a little rudder control. Air guy that's controlling it is up there at the main building.
Oh, okay.
Has reflective eyes on it.
I tell you what, he moves, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, you better watch it. He's gonna get you. Mike, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Nick DeJean. This looks like a 1812 reproduction of a 6-pound cannon. Is it a Union or Confederate?
It's Union, sir.
And how much powder do you put in it when you fire it?
For our blank demonstrations, we use a ½ pound of powder.
Okay, you think you can fire this for us today?
Yes, sir.
Are we rigged up and ready to go?
We should be.
Would you like to introduce the members of the brigade?
Okay. This is Cannoneer number 1. He's Pat Jones. He'll be swabbing out the gun and ramming the charge into the gun. This gentleman over here, Cannoneer number 2, is John Picoon. He's Cannoneer number 2, and he'll be loading the round into the chamber, and he's using that staff called a worm to pull out the debris from the last shot. I'll be serving as Cannoneer number 3 and as a gunner. I'll be giving the commands, and I'll be doing what's called tending the vent. And Cannoneer number 4 over here is Mr. Clint Cagle, and he'll be firing the gun. He'll be pulling a lanyard, activating what's called a friction primer, and that's the thing that will actually fire the cannon.
So we won't actually be lighting, we'll be using friction to create a spark to ignite.
Correct. All that stuff with the cigars and the torches, that's all Hollywood. That's the way it was actually done.
This is the way it was really done. Okay, we ready?
We are ready, Nick.
All right, well, let's stand back and see what we
Now, do we get in the front or the back?
My name is Michael Furring with Port Hudson State Commemorative Area. We're going to do a cannon demonstration. We'll be firing this reproduction 6-pound gun. Cannoneers, post! Load! Ready. Fire! Ceasefire, secure the beach.
Well, Nick, what you think about our trip we had?
Well, Byron, I really enjoyed our first Louisiana Outdoor Writers Association meeting. Mark, I'm glad to see you down there, and I know you've been in the business for a lot longer than I have, 2 years.
Yeah.
I know it was a mixed bag, but this interview with Dave Hall is really spectacular.
Any worldwide, Nicky?
It's worldwide. He's been all over to Russia. He's been given exclusive privileges to travel all over Russia and establish game refuges and train wardens and things like that over there. they really are concerned about conservation and preserving the natural resources, and he made a point to say how important it was for there to be hunters and fishermen. And without them, we wouldn't have any resources left in this country.
That's kind of like turkey hunting. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day. Without turkey hunters, turkeys would never come back.
No, all the license that people buy to do that kind of hunting, that's what helps pay for all the wildlife and fisheries and the stocking and breeding and the feeding. It helps a lot. That's where the money comes from.
I tell you what, the Louisiana Outdoor Writers, that to me is the backbone of our fishing and hunting industry in Louisiana. If they stop writing about it, it would disappear, because you have to get the message out to the people about how important these resources are.
And that's why they stress so much about take a kid hunting and teach him about hunting, because if the younger generation that we have coming up does not get into it and doesn't buy licenses and firearms and stuff, we're going to have gun control coming down on us. We'll have less people to fight for us. So we need to get the young, not the only reason, but we need to get them off the street, off the drugs, enjoying the sport, and also helping us keep it going.
Well, I'll tell you something else. It's very important to keep in mind that, for instance, in 3 states right now, the mourning dove is a songbird. And just like Mark said, if the hunters and the fishermen give in, we will lose our hunting and fishing privileges if we don't watch out. And I know the show was a mixed bag today, but to us it was very interesting and very important to get this message across to everybody who hunts and fishes.
Right. Well, listen, let's go ahead, and we had a number of pictures that were sent in this week, and we want to go ahead and show our viewers who sent in the pictures.
Right. Sure. Byron, our first picture is some catfish caught at Dubuisson Lake by Jason and Luke Leger. Nice catch right there.
Nice bunch of catfish you caught at Dubuisson.
So he's taking his son out fishing.
Isn't that nice?
That's what we're talking about. Here's the second picture.
All right, that's J.R. Montgomery and Jackie with a nice bunch of catfish there. Of course, they probably caught those at Dubuisson also.
And now this third picture, that's Billy St. Cyr and his little girl. And look at the size of this sacalait,
yeah,
2 pounds.
It's a 2-pound sacalait, Nicky. And of course, this week, this is our winning picture of the week. And of course, if they go by Cary Sporting Good, they can get a cap and a shirt and a bait and a cutset. So
pretty good prize.
No, I'm telling you. So we're going to let Billy know that he can go by and pick it up over at Cary Sporting Good this week.
Y'all keep sending those pictures in. And then this last picture is Todd Ledoux from Washington, Louisiana, with a nice string of fish.
That's a bunch of bass you caught at Dubuisson.
Oh, that's some nice ones there.
Ain't it though? And he's right there in Washington. Well, good. We appreciate that from Vidrine's bait stand that sent those pictures in, so we appreciate that.
Right.
And of course, we want to let all our viewers know if they have any pictures, they can send them on in. Okay, that was a beautiful picture of Billy St. Cyr and his daughter there.
Oh,
They just won the cap and the shirt, so we want to remind Billy to go on by. Nicky, let's say that. Mark, let's talk about this cutset. You have them over at Cary's right now?
Yeah, I sure do. And just to show them how easy it really is, you just peel the adhesive back off of it, and let's pretend that this is the rod here. You just wrap it around your rod like so. You cut the excess off. It works as a bait holder and also the line cutter. Very simple.
Isn't that a neat outfit? I tell you what, I've been bass fishing all my life, and I've never seen anything like that. And of course, like Nicky says, Nicky's been in the dental business. You save your teeth, you know?
Right.
I see Nicky bite on those lines all the time, and of course I've been telling him it's not good.
Right. And we have the complete line of the Dixie Danders lures that you just saw. Super balanced, very laser sharp hooks. Very nice spinnerbait this guy makes.
And Mark,
go ahead, Nick.
What about the pig hunt? Tell us about that.
I didn't get to talk too much on this show, but we're going to do some talking on the next one.
We have a real exciting in the woods.
Yeah, I got a pig hunt lined up for y'all.
How are we going to get him, Nicky?
Mark
how are we
and
going to get him?
Dr. Ferrazzano.
Myself and Dr. Ferrazzano is going to take him with a bow and arrow.
Well, good.
We're going to take one from a tree stand and one on the ground.
With one dogs,
right.
Gonna hunt the second one, right?
Right. And we're going to kill them, clean them, cook them, and eat them.
That's the way to do it, the big four.
That's what we like, huh, Dick?
We're going to show it all.
I'm telling you, we're great. Well, listen, I appreciate y'all coming by, Mark.
It was
Thank
very
you for coming
nice
by.
being here, Nick. Thanks
and,
a lot.
And until next week, we'll see you out on the bow bank.
Take care. Take your kid fishing.
Welcome to another Acadiana Outdoors show. Today I have with me Rodney Mayu. Thank you for coming by, Rodney.
Thank you for
Appreciate
asking me, Byron.
Rodney, you're also with Maybar Supply. You have boat supplies over here in Opelousas.
Exactly, right.
What do you handle there?
Well, we handle, we got a good special on this month. May is a month where we give everybody 20% off. It's like being a wholesale.
Yeah.
We have everything, specialized items, trailer parts, depth finders, good prices on motor guide, trolling motors.
Well, so, good. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming by, Rodney. And of course, I know you're real big in the GCCA. Right. Tell us, I know we have some footage here on the banquet y'all had.
We have a GCCA chapter here. It's called Jim Bowie chapter. We're in a membership drive right now, and it's looking pretty good. We have about 54 members, but remember, it's almost just St. Landry Parish, and we need some members. A lot going on in GCCA. Right. We lost our executive director for the state, Mark Hilsum, who was very influential with the legislature. We now have our president, who is kind of taking over everything, and you may have met him,
right.
Henry Mouton.
I sure did. He's a real fine fellow.
He's a fine fellow, very energetic fella, although he appears very laid back. He's a really go-getter. And we have a lot of bills before the legislature this year that we're actually trying to fight. One of them is getting rid of the Wildlife and Fisheries Commission, which has been a great
right, I was up there the other day at the legislature when that bill came up. So later on during a number of shows, you know, down the line, I'm going to talk about that.
And one of our big supporters, Terry Shaughnessy, just called yesterday and talked to me and said that he was very disappointed. The legislature wanted to enact legislation to charge all the guides $200 license fees per person, and I think he's got 4 guides, and of course all these guys that are down there
are fighting that.
So he says he didn't say this, but I'm going to say it, that I'm sure that his prices will be going up if that happens, especially if the legislatures come down to fish with him.
I'm telling you.
I shouldn't say that.
No, the other day I was in Baton Rouge, and of course I met with my good friend over there, Curtis Eubank from Unity.
Yeah, sure. No
Curtis and Dale Satig was there. He's a good friend of mine, and of course Dirk DeVille, also the representative, and he's doing an excellent job over there. And I met with Charles Hudson and Armand Brankhouse, and we had a real good meeting over there last week. And of course, I also spoke to him about a number of our wildlife and fishery bills, of course, a commission and a number of those. So in the next few weeks, we're going to have an update on that.
Good.
Let me go ahead and say something about a few of our good sponsors here, Rodney, that do help support this program. Is Opelousas Concrete Service. You know Sean.
Sure do.
And of course, we would also like Doge's bush hog service. You know Johnny Doge that goes out and does the bush hogging for different lots. And our new sponsor is Chuck Sporting Connection. You know Chuck Cary?
Yeah, sure.
He sells,
good man.
Oh yeah, real fine fella. He's a local guy here, just going out and just starting business a couple of years, doing real well, has a lot of support from the community. He has baseball shoes, football, anything the kids need during the summertime for their
great.
And of course, also Chuck has been gracious enough to donate some shirts every week for the picture of the week. So, well, look, let's go on out to the Indian Hills Country Club and show the viewers, and then we're going to come back, Rodney, and we're going to make a fishing trip with Bobby Savoy and his little boy Tony.
Talked to Bobby yesterday.
Oh yeah, he's a fine fellow. So let's go on out to the country club first.
Great.
GCCA has really come a long ways as far as for what I see and hear as, you know, being involved in it. Because they're trying to save, you know, the redfish, whereas the sport fisherman now is the only one that can fish the redfish. The commercial fishermen can't fish them. And then your speckled trout, you come a long ways pushing the legislature last year into deciding whereas the speckled trout now won't be fished on the weekends where your sports fishermen will be able to.
So they'll have a chance.
And I think GCCA really had a big push on this thing. And I hope that both parties, the sport fishermen and your commercial fishermen, can meet a happy medium on this thing.
I'm glad to have Mr. Lawrence Sandoz. Thank you, Mr. Sandoz, for coming by. I know you've been a saltwater fisherman for a number of years. You fish down in the Grand Isle area, and of course you support the GCCA real strongly. How long have you been in the club?
Oh, about 20 years, I guess. In GCCA, not this club, just since it's organized.
For about 20 years?
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of work.
Improving our fishing, you know, throwing back the 11-inch specks and 13, 14-inch redfish is really going to help us this year.
Yes, sir.
We just can get those nets out the water.
Yeah, they were telling me a while ago about these 7-mile nets, you know, that reach as much as 7 miles.
Louisiana is the last state that allows those nets to be in the water, and we've got to do our best to try to take them out of there permanently.
Dr. Merrick Wild, well, thank you, Merrick, for coming by. I know you've been a big supporter a number of years to the GCCA, and of course you always want to sell tickets to everybody, and you're a big, big supporter. And I know you make a number of trips offshore every year, but tell us a little bit about your saltwater involvement at this time.
Well, Byron, right now, as you well know, the GCCA is trying to get game fish status for the speckled trout. We were fortunate about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's 4 years ago, that we were able to get game fish status for the redfish. And our aim now is for speckled trout. We've seen our size and numbers of speckled trout because of nature and commercial fishermen. Really, the numbers really dwindle down in size and numbers.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, years ago you could go out and catch 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 pounds of specks, and over the last few years you could only catch. You were lucky if you got a 2-pounder, a 2.5-pounder.
Usually what you catch is the 12-inch specks or less, whatever fits through the seine.
Yeah. You know, that's a shame. You know, when I made that speckled trout fishing trip with you, we went out there and we saw those long, long nets that reached for miles and miles, and here we are sitting there with a pole trying to catch a fish. I mean, that's not fair.
Well, it depends which side of the fence you're on. Commercial fishermen and, of course, restaurant owners, when you go to all the restaurants, especially, say, in the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette area, when they talk about trout, almondine, and all that sort of stuff, well, then that's usually speckled trout they're talking about. But we feel that it can substitute. You know, catfishing and everything has now become a big industry, and
it's taking the place of the redfish.
It should.
Right.
Should.
Warren, how you doing? This is Warren Prevet from Martco Industries up in the north end of the parish up by LeBeau. Warren, I'm very happy to see you here tonight.
Glad to be here. I've enjoyed it. I've been active in GCCA for many years.
Really?
Enjoyed coming, enjoyed the socials.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Warren, tell us a little bit about your saltwater involvement, and I know you've been a saltwater fishing for a number of years, and I know you've been a big supporter of it.
Well, Byron, I grew up 9 miles from Lake Pontchartrain. I grew up fishing fresh and saltwater. I've seen the speckled trout and the redfish go the whole gamut from when it was no big deal to go out and catch a boatload to where it got extremely tough to catch a limit of 25. For the last 11 years, my family and I have owned a camp in South Terrebonne Parish down on the Gulf of Mexico. And also during the years, I've served on the state board of GCCA, was involved along with many of our local members and our local legislators in passing redfish as a game fish and putting quotas on speckled trout and trying to beef up the Wildlife and Fisheries Department.
Okay, we have our Sheriff, Howard Zarang. Howard, I appreciate you stopping by.
Byron, good to see you, man. How you been?
Oh, doing fine,
Why don't you come visit us sometime? We don't get to see you as often as we'd like to.
Well, I tell you what, the number of years I stayed up at the courthouse on the police jury, I mean, I enjoyed it up there, but I know you're doing a good job up there, and I don't have to be up there anymore, since you're up there.
Well, we like to visit and chit-chat every now and then, you know.
Well, I appreciate that. Howard, I know you as a sheriff of here in St. Leonard Parish, you support all the organizations, the different ones, and of course, I get out a lot, and I'll see you everywhere I go. You're a big supporter of GCCA also, and I know you've been here a number of years, and all your friends are here, and I just want to tell you, son, that you're doing an excellent job as a sheriff here in St. Leonard Parish, and of course, everybody tells you that anyway.
Well, it's good to be here, and certainly I'm here tonight, as I've been in the past, to support the organization, and certainly anything that you're affiliated with, I like to be right there.
Well, thank you, Howard. I appreciate it.
By the way, I want to tell you that, now you may not want me to say this on camera, but I just want you to know that I enjoy your outdoor program. I really do. It's great. I've heard a lot of good street talk about it, and you're doing a terrific job, Byron.
Well, thank you. I tell you what, you know, it's not very professional. I mean, it's just like old Cat Do said, our old sheriff, you say you just talk out of the head, you know?
That's why everybody enjoys it.
Well, good. Well, thank you, Howard. I appreciate you being with me.
Okay, Byron. Good to see you.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a very worthwhile organization, Byron, and I have been very supportive, and now I will continue to support on a different level, but it's a good group of folks, and I think it's what they after is very worthwhile, and I hope we could get more people here involved, and I think it's growing, and I think it's a good thing, and we just have to keep plugging.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll accomplish eventually, you know, what they're out to accomplish.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you stopping by.
Sure, Byron. Good to be here.
Thank you, Home.
Right.
Oh, Lenora, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, Byron. How are you?
Fine. You're looking real nice. I want you to know that. Mr. Darbone is very lucky to have a wife like you.
Well, thanks, Byron.
You come to the meetings very much, the GCC?
The first one.
Well, good. Well, it's good seeing you, Lenora.
Good. Gene's the one that brought the boat here.
Well, is that right? Is that your boat?
No, it's not mine, but he went to Lafayette to pick it up.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Thank you, Lenora.
Nice to
All right.
Rodney, I know the banquet was a great success, and I know you put in a lot of hard work, and I know all the sportsmen appreciate it.
We did. We put in a lot of work through the efforts of many of the members. It was a success. We had right at 200 guests. So
Well,
I think
that's
that was
good.
very
And I hope next year y'all invite me back, and of course I enjoyed it, and of course now I am a member, and of course we want any of our viewers to know that they can also join and get a hold of you or me. Well, good. Rodney, let me just say something about a couple more of our sponsors, and then we're going to go on a fishing trip.
Great.
Boco's service there in Ville Platte. Boco's have Honda motorcycles, and they also have three-wheelers and four-wheelers, and they can go by and have them checked out over there. And, of course, Tony Sasher Insurance Agency, Doug Sasher and Jim Wallace have all the insurance needs that they could possibly want. And, of course, I want to mention Janine. You know Janine? That's Jim's wife.
Yeah.
Janine watches a big she watches my show every week, and she calls and tells me how good it is sometimes, and she calls and tells me how bad it is other times. And, of course, the St. Leonard Bank with Robert and Alan and Kenny and Mr. Bernard and all them over there. So we appreciate them being sponsors on this show. So we made a little fishing trip with Tony Savoy. He goes to Opelousas Catholic, I believe it is. And you know Bobby real well. Bobby has he rents cars over there. What's and he also has
Barber.
Yeah. So let's go on our fishing trip with Tony and Bobby.
I'm
Good.
anxious to see it.
Okay, I'm here with Chink. Chink, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
Good, good. You going fishing?
Oh, yeah.
Where you headed?
Bayou Rouge.
You biting over there or what? Yeah. Have you been catching any lately? What you catching? Tell us what you catching now.
Yeah, a little brown.
Yeah, we're going fishing. Me and Bobby Savoy and Tony, they're getting some crickets and worms right now, and we're fixing to go out brim fishing this afternoon. So I know all our viewers are gonna. I wish I had. When you get back, I wish I could show the viewers what you catch.
I hope you catch.
You gonna catch him, huh? Because all our viewers know, Jake, he works over at Toby's Little Lodge, and he's you park all the cars and everything, and of course it's amazing on how do you remember the cars. How do you, tell us how you remember the cars.
Face.
You remember that face? Well, good. Thank you for coming by, Chink. And good luck on your fishing trip, yeah?
Thank you, man.
All right, here we are at Vidrine's bait stand. Of course, I'm going fishing with Tony Savoy. How you doing, Tony?
Fine.
You gonna catch a bunch of fish today? And of course, I'm with his daddy, Bobby. Bobby, I appreciate you inviting me on a fishing trip today.
Thank you, Byron.
And, you know, I always try and tell people to go out with their kids and bring their kids out fishing. And when they're out fishing, they're not out in the bars and raising hell. Huh, Bobby?
Right.
And there's a way to do it, is to bring your kids fishing. So I hope everybody enjoys our show today. And we're over here at Vidrine Bait Stand. You just got our crickets and everything, so we're fixing to hit on to the lake. We'll see you at the lake. Hey, Bobby, you got one already?
Nice fish today.
That's a nice one.
Chartreuse and black gill.
So that's what you're fishing. You're not fishing with your crickets.
Just happened to be on there, so I decided to try.
How about you, Tony? Not rigged up yet, huh?
See, that was Chester chick. That's the day I used to
got him, Tony. Yeah, he's a little one, Tony. Tony, where you go to school? What grade you in? Fixing to go to 9th? That's good. What you got, Tony? Let's see him? Boy, that's a nice brim, huh? Golly, Tony. Sure is. That's a big old bull brim. How big is it, Tony? Let me see him. Hold him still so we can show the viewers. Oh, yeah, that's a nice one, Tony. Okay, Tony, what size is that one, Tony?
Pretty good size one.
Uh-huh.
Double.
Golly. All right, Tony. Let me see, Bob. That's a nice fish, huh? Yeah, I want it. Yeah, that's a nice one. That's a nice one, too, Bob. Sure is. What you got, Tony? Where's your card? Oh, yeah, it's a nice one, Tony. Sure is. Let's see him. Oh, yeah, that's a nice fish there now. Golly, can you barely put your hand around it, huh, Tony? What you got, Tony?
A big one. Oh.
What you got? You got off?
Yeah.
Golly. He was a big one, wasn't he? Oh, he's a little one? Yeah, that's a small one, huh?
Medium.
Medium size. Oh, aren't they pretty? Yeah, I got a white one. One white one. Yeah, all the rest are ringnecks. Oh, that's a nice brown, huh, Tony? One? Huh? Golly. That's a pretty one, Tony. I'm telling you, huh? Yeah?
Caught him on a sting cat.
Alright. That's a nice fish, huh? Talk about. That's a medium size? Got him, Tony. Where is he?
Right there. I saw the big one.
Let me see, Tony. Turn him around this way so I can look at him. Well, I'm telling you, that is a pretty one, huh? What you got, Tony? Let me see him. That's a nice fish, too, huh, Tony? Sure is, huh? Good. That's a Sacalait, buddy. Well, I'm telling you, ain't he? Boy, that's a nice Sacalait, ain't it, Bobby? Talk about turn. There you go. Let's see. That's a beautiful Sacalait in it. Well, Rodney, you can see I really enjoyed my fishing trip with Tony and Bobby.
Slaughtered them, I'm telling
yeah,
you.
we had a good time. And you know, the best thing about it all is that Tony caught more fish than Bobby.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Rodney, let me just say something here. Acadian Janitorial Supply has all the chemicals and everything everybody, you know, can possibly need up in our viewing area. That clean offices and all that type of stuff is also one of our sponsors. Of course, LeBlanc Chamberlain and Martin and Salvador's Jewelry from Eunice. And we appreciate those sponsors being part of our program. We have a number of pictures that were sent in this week, Rodney, and of course, let's go on and show our viewers. And we started a new thing now that a picture of the week that's sent in, and they get a number of excellent prizes. So let's go on and show our viewers and see who the winner is this week. Okay, our first picture here is we have two beautiful turkeys, Rodney.
Randy Martin and Billy Fontenot with two turkeys, beautiful turkeys, killed. Not too sure where, but in the first part of the season.
I'll tell you what, isn't that pretty though?
Beautiful.
Really is. Okay.
Beautiful birds.
And our second.
It's three guys, three people. Keith, Brent, and Patrice Prudhomme.
Oh yeah.
What are they catching there?
That's some Sacalait. It's real
wow,
nice.
That's a big.
And of course, they also have a number of bass in there too. Yeah. They look at a real good. And Brent also has Prudhomme's bait stand out there in that Port Barry area.
Oh, that's Brent. Okay,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's
right.
Brent in the middle. I see him. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
There he is. Good. Congratulations. Okay. And our next picture is Gary LeJack. He has a I don't know. I think that's either a 10 or a 12-pound shoe pick. And I know Gary really had fun catching that shoe pick. And I have a friend of mine that really loves them. And of course, maybe, Gary, you keep on catching those shoe pick and showing and bring us a picture of it. Okay.
This is Zane Walls and Keith Manuel.
That's a nice bunch of Sacalait, isn't it, Rodney?
Some nice Sacalait.
It really
didn't say
is.
where they caught them, did they?
No, they really didn't. And we're going to have to ask our viewers to put more, because we have another picture coming up with some gentlemen. Okay, we have another picture here with...
This is little Joe Vidrine. Is that who that is?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Joe. He's got, he's kind of holding that far apart. This Joe Vidrine with a 3-pound bass he caught, and he tells us on a Zara Spook puppy at Old Catawba. He's 12 years old. He's from Opelousas. Great job,
good.
Joe.
And our next picture here is some gentlemen that caught a 25-pound goo.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that big?
I'm telling you.
And it was taken over at Prudhomme's bait stand, this picture. We appreciate Brent giving us these pictures this week. But we don't have their names. So
it took all 4 of them to catch that big fish.
I'm telling you,
sure it had to be, yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's a big... I wonder where he caught that. I wish they'd sent it in. I wish we'd know that.
So if anybody sees these gentlemen, if they know who they are, we'll be happy to announce their names.
Don't know who they are.
Okay, and we're going to go here back and we're going to announce our winner this week is... Rodney, who's our winner this week?
Let's stir up the names and everything.
Okay.
Here we go. Joe Vidrine with a 3-pound bass.
Well, good.
I don't know what the other 2 fish are.
Oh, that's a nice bass, too.
But the big bass is a 3-pounder. Joe, congratulations.
Yeah, and he can come on by the studio and pick up all of his prizes. He has a number of prizes from Cary Sporting Good and also Chuck's. And he comes by the studio here. We'll have a number of items for him. And we want our viewers to keep sending pictures in, and we really enjoy them. And, of course, all of our viewers enjoy them also. There were some great pictures this week, Rodney, weren't they?
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and of course, we want to encourage our viewers to keep sending them in, and it looks like we have a number of prizes for our viewers. So, Joey, if you come by and pick up your prize this week, we appreciate the pictures. Rodney, let's talk about fishing a little bit, and I talked to Larry Lashley. He's over at Service Builders. Larry's been catching a lot of fish, and of course, he didn't want anybody to know where he's catching them. And so I'll tell you where he's catching them. He's catching them at Henderson. And so if anybody sees Larry, don't tell him we said anything.
That's right.
Where are the fish biting besides Henderson?
Salt water or fresh water? Fresh water. Probably nowhere. That cold front that came through, we had record low temperatures in the morning. I think it cooled off the water, or the fish have changed their habits just for a little bit. We've tried Chico, we've tried Miller's Lake, we've tried 3 Mile, we've tried 2 o'clock. They're catching a few brim now at 2 o'clock, but everything has kind of slowed out. The freshwater, the saltwater area, We've heard some good reports 2 weeks ago at T-Butte out of Vermilion Bay. Jim Dugal, a friend of mine, Jim, and Jean Dorbon, who was on the show earlier, well, his wife was anyway.
Yeah, she's a lot prettier than he is.
Yes, yeah. I'm not going to. Jean's birthday today, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, anyway, they went out of Rockefeller last week and caught some Spanish mackerel, but not one trout. So our area has been kind of zero. The water's been bad. Vermilion Bay had a lot of mud. And you need to come with me one day.
Good, I
We'll
appreciate
make the
that.
trip.
Rodney, I was talking to Rusty over at Rusty's in
Oh,
Bill
yeah,
Platt
yeah,
yesterday.
Cold Iron, yeah.
Yeah, and don't you know in the last couple of days the fish are starting to turn on at Chico?
I'm happy.
And then I also talked to Bobby Sawboy. You saw Bobby on the film
Sure.
here. Bobby went down the river somewhere and caught him, so in some secluded areas. So, well, like you said, the river was coming up then. It's kind of stabilized. It's starting to drop a
If
little
it does,
bit.
we're in good shape.
So hopefully we can get some good fishing trips in the next couple of weeks. I hope all our viewers enjoyed our show today. It was kind of a mixed bag, and of course we enjoyed bringing it to you, and we had a number of people on there.
I
and,
thought it was interesting.
Well, good, Rodney. I appreciate you coming by. And Rodney, you're going to be going to Toledo Bend and bringing some footage back that we can show our viewers.
We're going to be leaving tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Well, good.
We're going to be back Saturday, so be in time for the show to watch
good.
the show on TV.
Rodney, we want to encourage all our viewers. You know, during this time of year, you know, a number of people go out on the bar banks and they don't bring their life jackets. And we want to encourage all of our viewers to start wearing their life jackets.
Absolutely.
You know, accidents can happen so fast in a boat. I mean, like that. You know, they can turn over and get hurt, and we never have ever talked about that. But I do want to mention that, and because every year, this time of year, in the next couple of months, we do have some fatalities here of course, in St. Leonard and Evangeline parishes, and we do want to encourage that. So if you do see somebody out on the bar bank, encourage them to wear their life jacket. And it is a law also that youngsters have to have life jackets on. So
and another thing, if I may inject, and I know that as Cajuns, we all like our beer and our little drinks, but if you do drink while you're fishing, let somebody else do the driving.
Right.
It's very important.
Ronnie, you know, I was talking to the Wildlife and Fisheries the other day. We had on the show last week, and we had talked to them. Did you know that the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries can give a citation for DWI on the water?
Should.
And if you have, let's say you have one driving a car, if you have one like that driving a boat, that's your second DWI. Did you know that?
It should be.
Yeah, and so I didn't realize it also had the same penalty as in a car.
There's no speed limit on the water, see?
And they are out there patrolling right now, and they are giving citations.
I'm happy to hear that.
And so we want our viewers to know that. Well, until next week, we hope you enjoyed our show this week, and until next week.
Good, man. Isn't that good?